Right, second part of the repair of the Toshiba cassette player. I've got an assortment of belts from China, so I'm hoping one of these belts is going to be the right size. What I'll do is I'll strip the thing down and see if we can get the belt changed. Unfortunately, you can't just drop the belt straight on top of the flywheel, because there's a bearing both sides that doesn't allow you to get the belt over. So what I've got to do, just somehow get this apart. It should be fairly straightforward to work out how it comes apart. Looking for all the screws in the chassis. Looks like these two screws here for the handle have to come off. Probably something as simple as that. You remove these two screws and it all falls apart, which is a quite nice system. Okay. The front's loose. Okay, I've got two small screws just in here that need loosening, just inside the cassette tray. Not sure if they do actually. I think they possibly didn't need to come out. It does look like they're only a cover, dust cover. Struggling to get these. We've got here two wires here that go to this battery connection. Maybe I need to drop this battery tray out as well. A lot of extra capacitors and things being put in here. This is looks a bit aftermarket to me. Or maybe not. Maybe that's original. Just rattling around in there. I'd expect them to have been held in with something. Looks like just extra capacitance to the power supply. I suppose there isn't a lot of room. Nichicon capacitors, so there should be still probably okay actually. Oh, there we go. Let's just carefully put that down like that. Now then, we need to get the top bearing cover off from the flywheel, which is here. So, screwdriver. That's the top plate. Now we're going to try and find a belt that's the right size. I'm sure we've got something that will fit pretty closely. Let's see what we've got. So we need a small section belt, something like, oh, actually quite wide section these belts. They're all flat belts. I thought these were supposed to be, yeah, they're all like a small flat belt. Let's see what we've got. It should work fine, but it wasn't actually what the description was, I don't think. It goes around this idler pulley, just to there. It looks alright, it looks like it might work. Get the twists out of the pulley, out of the belt. There we go. Alright. Well, these belts aren't exactly what I was expecting because they've sort of got quite a large cross section on them. They're usually sort of a 1-to-1 aspect ratio sort of thing, but these aren't. These are flat, but I'll have to see if I can find some better belts if I'm going to do this sort of thing more regularly. So let's put the support plate back on. And we just want a little bit of end pressure on that end bear, on this idler, capstan wheel idler, because we don't want to put an unnecessary pressure on there because it can cause wow and flutter, and it can also wear your batteries out as well because it's obviously an extra drag for the motor to turn. Let's pop this back together. Just want a little bit of end float on this capstan. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of end float there, so that's perfect. That's fine. Pop it back in its case like that. Have to do something with these capacitors, I think, somehow to get them to stay in a bit better than that. I might actually put that capacitor there behind that speaker clamp if I can. We just hold it still. That's it. So hopefully that shouldn't interfere with anything when we put the cover back on. Pulls those a bit better. Could do something around this one really as well. I'm not sure this is the original way of fitting them, but they've got a little bit of a loop on this wire. If I can just feed that loop around the pillar point there, that'll do fine, as long as I can get the cover back on, the case back on. So let's put the two battery connections. Now, are they the actual connections for the battery? There's no connection there. That just went like that in there. Okay, that screw doesn't feel quite right. There's maybe another screw goes in there. Now this is the battery box, so I've just got to check that oh, there's the connections to the battery there. That's okay. So I've just got to check my polarity again, like I'm going to reverse it. Okay, so that fits like that. So that's your positive there, which would be the orange one. I'm sure it's the shorter wire anyway, so. Does look like that's that. That goes on just there. Okay, the next, slot the 6 volt connector in, like that, and and then the mains connector, which is this slightly odd styled 2-pin, like it looks like an IEC plug, but it's actually slightly smaller. So we'll have to find something for that if we're going to run it on mains, or I might be able to adapt it to have a normal mains plug, but I don't really want to do that. I'd like to keep it as standard as possible. Okay, so what we'll do next is we'll put some power on it. We won't put it all back together, we'll just rest this cover on here, like that, for the time being. And we'll give it some supply. The current limit. Okay, what connections do we have here? Positive was the inside, wasn't it? Yeah. Wrong supply. That makes it a bit longer. Also going to get those little screws back in. I've dropped one of them somewhere. I think it's probably that one. Something turning briefly. Into current limit. Let's give it a bit more current. Okay. Looks like something's sticking. Lift the cover off again. Round the right way, the side of that pulley. Can't remember which side it went. I think actually I'm on the wrong side of that pulley. I bet someone was shouting, wrong side of the pulley. Is it that way? Okay. What's going on here? These belts are too tight, or the belt's too loose. The pulleys are too tight, or the belt's too loose. It's turning everything there. Could be because the cassette player's been in the cold workshop for a while. I'm not sure that is around the right way, you know. I think I was correct the first time. I'm sure it goes this way. Yeah, that definitely goes that way. So that's working. So let's just put some more screws back together. What it needs is the cassette player to warm up, because of course as it's old, all the grease is probably a bit sort of sticky. But the belt seems to be working okay, even though it's not the ideal belt. What I'll do is, if this doesn't work, I'll take it into the house for a while and let it warm up a bit. See if we get any more luck with it then. A couple of screws in it that hold it together. Okay. Something is jamming that pulley. So I think we're going to have to do is get this cover off and have a look inside. So what I'll do is I'll finish here, and the next video will be trying to get the transport. Okay, I don't know if you can see what the problem is here, but the reason why it was running badly was, if you can see this flat spot here on the pulley here. This is a rubber, sort of like a rubber band that goes around the outside of this take-up pulley on the cassette drive, and you can see if I push it, it's just breaking up. You see that? It's just turned to like a mulch, which is what happens to them. Unfortunately, they react with the air, and all cassette belts do it. I don't know if it's humidity or the air quality or something like that, but it's quite a common problem. Try and pull this off. Well, the idea is you should be able to replace this. I don't know if they're available on eBay, but remove this old part of the belt. You see it's all coming away from the pulley. There you go. It's half of it. And there's the rest of it, or most of the rest of it anyway. So I need to measure that up, clean that pulley track out. Now this side here hasn't got that. It's got a rubber idler here. This rubber idler here runs across this pulley, so that's nice. That's no problem at all. But of course this side has that rubber, and I need to replace that. So I need to see if I can find a belt or band. I don't know if that's a class as a band or a belt, so I can replace that. Because I wouldn't normally bother on an old cassette player like this, because it's in such nice condition. I think it's worth the time and the effort. So watch this space. Hopefully I'll be able to find another band for that.